Thank God it's Friday. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is the Free for All Friday. What does that mean to me and you? Well, I know what it means to me. It means I won't be getting up early tomorrow. It means I'll be having a couple of drinks tonight. And I hope you have a good night, good day, good weekend as well. Welcome back to Prepared Mind channel. Get your comments down below, questions, thoughts, observations, predictions. This is Friday, which means we go back and forth. My questions, then your questions, and back and forth as we talk about various topics that happened this week, or you could call back to last month. What is going to happen on the weekend, or you could look to the future and just keep looking. And what do you see coming? Everything we discuss affects others' thinking. Everything we discuss helps people get prepared. I had quite a conversation with a material supplier today, all the way on the other side of the country and back in California. And it was interesting. The phone number came through with a prefix on it. I thought, that's my old prefix. And so I said, where are you at? Well, Chico, California. The person was very insistent on taking control of the family, their lives, making decisions for themselves. And I thought, man, it's got to be so tough to do in the state of California these days. And yes, that's exactly what's going on, folks. We are at war with corrupt totalitarian government. We're at war with a crooked economic, financial, and monetary system. We are at war with religious hatred against us. We are at war on all fronts, folks. And here's another piece. Our own government that is supposed to help us, that we voted in, is completely inept. But by golly, they sure can do a hell of a press conference. That's right. Our fabled, famous Attorney General, Pam, don't do a fucking thing, Bondi, is back on the news. And she's ordering a full investigation into Nick Sorter's unjust arrest in Portland, Oregon. Now, the news headline is, the investigation will be headed by no-nonsense Assistant Attorney General, blah, 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 blah. No nonsense? We've got nothing but nonsense. Oh, by the way, Nick Sorter is a conservative journalist. Arrested in Portland. We'll talk more about that. Hopefully you've got some insights, some news, some stuff there. But the Attorney General's office sees the police in Portland arrest a reporter while allowing criminality to run rampant throughout Oregon, throughout Eugene, throughout Portland, and not arrest anybody. So it's easy to see that the government is allowing fascist brown shirts that go by the name of Antifa, allegedly been designated as a terrorist group, yet they're allowed to run free on the street. Well, we're going to get a harsh letter, a warning, and powerful investigation. Is that going to keep you satisfied? It's going to keep America safe? Thanks, Pam. What a disappointment. You know, with Biden, we were backpedaling and fighting left, right, pushing everywhere on everything. With Trump, the first 2 weeks, he was pushing back, and now they're just standing there in their fucking shoes, like they're on the side of the dance floor waiting for someone to call them to dance. Well, they're doing it. We've got criminals in Washington, D.C. saying, let's dance, and they won't. We have former criminal politicians like Hillary or Barack, James Comey going, let's dance, and the Trump administration won't dance. We've got little turds in Portland, Oregon, want to dance. Nope. They're not going to do anything more than investigate. And that's it, folks. Are you prepared? Are you prepared? Are you prepared for what comes to your neighborhood? Are you going to, wait for someone to attack? maybe defend yourself, get arrested for it, and take that shit? Well, most people are. Most people will. I don't think I'm going to allow myself to be arrested while scumbags are running around, burning, looting, murdering, robbing, raping, stealing. That's the United States of America, folks. This kind of banana republic bullshit used to be reserved for countries like El Salvador. Well, hell, now El Salvador has a president, said he was going to fix the problems. He's actually fixing the problems. He locked up the gangs, all of them. He took the judges and threw them out of office. And if they got out of hand, they got locked up. Safest country in the Western Hemisphere. I believe one of the safest countries in the entire world. Crime per capita down. Why? Because he had the balls. President Bukele of El Salvador had the balls to fix the problem. Who's got big balls? Well, it's not who we would hope it would be. It's not Trump. He does not have big balls or big enough balls. And I don't want to hear, John, we have a constitutional republic. We got to play by the rules. They're refusing to play by the rules. And that is a fucking fact. It's a fact. We've got government running all over the top of us, lying to our faces, lying to the media lying to us, and they're getting away with it. In fact, Uman wants us to listen to the wise words of Illinois Governor Jabba the Hutt Prickster. Here we go. Governor Prickster is out there saying, quote, "I never once said anything to invoke violence against the right." Technically, he's not lying. According to libtard and lawyer logic, he said it a lot of times. Yeah, he has. Shall we play that clip there, Mr. Uman? All right, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
I do not invoke the specter of Nazis. What is inciting MAGA extremists is rhetoric that was used in the 1930s in Germany. That the Nazis in Germany in the 30s standing up at a presidential rally and giving 2 Nazi salutes. And that's what happened in Nazi Germany. And I know what happened day by day almost that led to the Holocaust. An awful lot of fear.
He's a racist.
Time for people to mobilize. And the dangers that we saw in Nazi Germany is.
These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace.
Let me be clear, we're in a perilous moment in this country. We've had our civil rights taken away, and it's only been 100 days.
Public safety is under attack by the Trump administration.
President Trump and his bootlickers. There's nothing that incites people about that.
Just wow. Typical lying right to your face, folks. Reminds me of the little Martians running around, blowing up the entire planet on Mars attacks while carrying a record player that says, "We come in peace." This is the world we live in now. Are you going to believe the news? Are you going to believe politicians? Are you going to believe your own eyes and your own ears? Are you going to let them think for you? Or are you going to think for yourself? Don't let me think for you. Don't let me make your decisions. But just listen to what they say and look at what they do. And you realize what is happening. We are going to have an incredible fight, folks. An incredible fight. Yep, using someone. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, all good. Let's see. Okay. Got a good message there from the Bahana. All right. Thank you very much. Let us do this, folks. What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? I've got a bunch of stories, but it is Friday, Free for All Friday. Let's get into it. Woo, Mr. Uman, who's got an idea, a concept, a thought that they want to share? Where do we want to go? Uman, we've got Heidi checking in. She says, I wonder how that big balls kids that got beat up is doing. Well, I believe he's healed up, and he's actually come out now and made some public statements. I guess we're talking about who's got the big balls. Well, interesting for a young man. I don't want to call him a kid. Was hired on by Elon Musk, part of the Department of Government Efficiency, went into the government's computer database, fished out information, put it into a readable and understandable format. He risked his life exposing politicians for being liars, bureaucrats for being incompetent fools, the media for being a willing lapdog and a fourth column, or is it a fifth column these days? In other words, the enemy of our country, the enemy of our republic. Apparently he's okay, but we're going to find out. I'm sure he can get a good job anywhere, but weren't we promised a Department of Government Efficiency? Weren't we promised cuts, budget cuts, getting rid of all the waste, fraud, and abuse? How many arrests have we seen? 0. How many arrests have we seen? 0. Let me say that again. How many arrests for fraud, waste, abuse, money laundering, bribery, extortion? 0. We've got one indictment of one big fish, and he wasn't even arrested. In fact, he's got another 6 days before he has to even go in and check in. I tell you, Heidi, it's not looking good for us. Everybody, we're going to need to stay awake and stay frosty. So the conservative journalist Nick Sorter, who was arrested by the Portland, Oregon Police Department, has a bit of a nasty message after being released from custody. This is what he had to say. And ask yourself, do you agree with this statement? And then I'll ask you again, if you were arrested inside Portland, Oregon, for merely standing there, would you agree with this statement? He says, quote, Portland is a fucking third world hellhole. If I defend myself, I will be the one who gets arrested, not the assailant. Antifa is in full control out here. President Trump needs to step in. I agree with him 100%. 100%. Portland is a hellhole. No doubt. It is third world. But so is Chicago. So is Baltimore. Yeah. So is Jacksonville. So is Dallas. So is Kansas City. So is San Francisco, Oakland, and Los Angeles. They're all literal hellholes. Boston, New York City is about to go full on communist, is it not? But back to Portland, Antifa, which was designated a terror organization, Mr. Sorter says, is in full control, where the police run cover, make sure nobody interferes with their burning, looting, murdering, raping, robbing, pillaging, etc. Now, the Antifa that have been arrested by Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, is that them? No. Department of Homeland Security, please forgive me. They are literally crying their eyes out like a bunch of babies as they sit in the jail cell, realizing you're not in Portland police custody, you little fucks. But that's the world we've got. This is the world we live in now. Literally. I guess I could ask the question. Trump has an opportunity using actual constitutional authority and at the very least duplicating the effort made by Democrat presidents in the past to rein in unruly criminal mobs. Why isn't he doing more? I think they should be doing a lot more. I think National Guard should be activated everywhere, especially places that have Antifa and BLM and LGBTQIAP for pedophile. They're strongholds as well. They know who they are. They know where they're at. They know what they've been planning. And the left is no longer sorry about Charlie Kirk, folks. No longer sorry about it. Nope, and nope. The left is no longer sorry. In fact, they've now resumed wishing death on everybody. Think about that, folks. And Governor Pritzker, yeah, he's a fucking liar. Trying to say he didn't say that. He hasn't called for violence. He hasn't promoted violence. He hasn't used incendiary language. No. He's done all of those things numerous times. That's why I was calling them fascists so much yesterday. Because Democrats are fascists, enriching themselves and blaming others. All right, Mr. Uman, let's do it. Let's have some more fun. Who is up next? Get your questions down below. It is the Friday free-for-all. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and over to Redneck Roughneck, and he's talking about Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, occasionally known as MAGA Mike, but I like to call him Maggot Mike. So Redneck Roughneck says, I see Mike Johnson came out and read the part of Schumer's bill that allows illegal aliens to get health care. Yeah, there is a complete clause written specifically to make sure that they are medically cared for. They're liars. See, they don't have to tell the truth. They don't. Now, the thing is when Chuck Schumer is out there telling his lie, and dollar store Obama Hakeem, where's my sombrero Jeffries, when they come out and lie, the mainstream media, the lapdogs, run to them, panting in excitement, and make sure that their news channel, their news station, especially CNN, especially Fox, covers all of their discussion, question and answer, want to make sure their message gets out. So if Maggot Mike Johnson had anything to say, in this case, accurately, the media won't cover it, certainly not in totality with follow-up questions, etc. Certainly they're not going to follow up and go to, well, back into Congress, back into the halls of stupidity, and show Schumer where he lied. Now, see, here's the thing. If I had a media outlet, if I had a media channel, and I interviewed a politician and he lied, from that point on, I would, well, first I'd go back and say, did you lie or did you make a mistake? And when they say, I didn't lie, I must have made a mistake. Oh, so what you're telling me is in your position of power and authority over something this important, national news, you made a mistake, so you're incompetent. You see, you can talk him right into a fucking corner. Now he's defending himself over a charge of incompetency. Where does he go from there? Right, exactly. And then if you say, look, you are either lying or you're incompetent. I want you to apologize to all of our viewers. If they don't apologize, every time that piece of shit, whether it's Nancy, 90 proof, or Hakeem, where's my sombrero, dollar store Obama, or Chuck Schumer, or any other Democrat or Republican for that matter, on the screen underneath them while they're talking, I would put, they lied about health care for illegals. Whatever they lied about. Remember, this guy lies. Remember, this guy lies. Remember, this lady lies. Remember that. It would be so easy and so effective. Because what excuse does he have? I made a mistake. You're incompetent. This senator, this congressperson, this senator, that senator, she, he, them, it are fucking incompetent and liars. Like this Pritzker thing. Rush Limbaugh was famous for playing montages of their lies. Works great. Thank you, Redneck Roughneck. I appreciate you being here every day, contributing to the channel and what it is that we think about and share as free Americans. Now, I'm going to take you all the way back to Portland, Oregon again. Spending a lot of time in the West Coast mentally today. In other news, domestic terrorist Antifa thug. Antifa wannabe thug. Well, one of these Portland pricks decided to pick a fight with a man who was walking around wearing a shirt that said freedom. You know, like Charlie Kirk had. Well, he learned to regret screwing with somebody. And he got to taste the ground. What happens is all of Antifa needs to learn reality. And I believe their time is coming. If you remember back in 2020, folks, the summer of love, every time, and I mean every single time, BLM, Antifa, or one of the nameless, faceless, rabble-rousing morons got hurt, they would scream for medics. Medic, medic, as if they're in a war zone. Really, literally. It's like you just had a taste of reality. How many times have you been in, seen, or heard of a bar fight where people go to the bar with a beautiful smile and they leave missing a few teeth? These people need to learn reality. I'm not telling you to go out and commit a crime or anything dangerous, but this is what needs to happen. Reality needs to come home. Kind of like people with gender dysphoria. What I don't understand is Trump has been president for almost a year, and there are still transgender enlisted and officers in the military. He can hold them accountable, by the way. All right, that was some fun stuff. Folks, it is Friday, the Free for All Friday. I want to thank all of you coming here. When you see this video on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, Instagram, pirate it on any channel, I don't give a shit. Share the internet address, hit the thumbs up, tell people, come to the Prepared Mind at YouTube and subscribe. We need our numbers to go up, up, up. Same with X, same with everywhere. Subscribe, 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 and share. All right, Mr. Uman, what is the next topic? Good call, Mikey G. He says, hey, where's my Doge check? $5,000. Remember that when we were teased? Oh, yeah. We got politically teased. Well, I don't want my asshole tickled. I don't want to be fucking teased. We were told, hey, we might just eliminate all of your income taxes, right? Teased. Hey, we can eliminate property taxes, right? Hey, Doge has found so much fraud, waste, abuse that we're going to give you guys something. Well, how about a $5,000 Doge check? Haven't seen anyone get one of those yet. Have you? I don't know where yours is, Mikey. I know where it's at. It's on Pam Bondi's desk, right under the Epstein files. That's exactly where it's at. It's right under the little black book of Jizzy Maxwell's. It's underneath all those computer hard drives of children being raped by rich, powerful, wealthy, industrialist, banking, foreign and domestic scumbags that they're protecting. That's right. It is my firm belief that the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the administration is protecting pedophiles because it's a hoax. It's a hoax. What an interesting hoax. I love being hoaxed, and I love being promised tax cuts. Have you even heard the word tax cut? I remember hearing they'll eliminate taxes, but never a word about a tax cut. Hold your breath, folks. Hold your breath. You'll get there. I promise. Politicians, that's all they do is promise. The only way to tell if a politician is lying or not is to look closely and see if their mouth is moving. This person I talked to in California is protecting their children. 3 children. They got their first round of VAXs before they left the hospital. After that, never again. The person was like, you know what? It didn't feel right. It didn't sound right. My doctor, nobody, it didn't seem to be doing it for the right reason. And their intuition went off. And from that point forward, this person woke up, got red-pilled about 6 years ago. It was quite interesting to talk to someone in depth who's been red-pilled for 5 years. I was like, welcome to the party, pal. Yeah, Doge check. Mikey, go out and check your mailbox. I hear they're coming. They're coming. Now, something did happen this week, which is positive, and I want to give credit where credit is due. The chief of the FBI, I thought he was the director. Now he's a chief. I mean, I know he's an Indian, but Indian chiefs have feathers. This guy would probably have a red dot. In any event, FBI's Kash Patel, the big boss, the kahuna, he has decided that the Southern Poverty Law Center shouldn't be listened to because they labeled Turning Point USA as a hate group, well, weeks before Charlie Kirk's assassination. Then we also have Southern Poverty Law Center. Oh, yeah, the Anti-Defamation League, right? So, wow, in 1 week, good old Kash Patel has cut off both the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center. Cut them out of there. They're no longer going to use their information. What do you mean use their information? Those organizations were creating definitions of hate, anti-Semitism. They were assigning labels to different right-wing American groups like Christians, parents, veterans, social media groups, organizations, and people. And they were taking those examples and definitions and actually teaching that to FBI recruits, candidates, whatever the fuck they call themselves. Isn't that unbelievable? They can't understand. If you're not listed as a terror group, how can the FBI teach that people are a terror group? So these groups, both folks, are both anti-American, both anti-Constitution, both are anti-white, anti-male, anti-law, anti-Christian. Well, what will Israel say about this development is my question. What is Israel going to say about this? Both the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center both toe the line, the same line. In fact, the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League the other day had a little faux pas. This is a couple of weeks ago. Was appearing in the media talking about how Israel doesn't like this and doesn't like that. And it's like, oh, yeah, wait a minute. I mean, yeah, sorry about that. The ADL, right? You just let the cat out of the bag that he's an Israeli lawyer working in America and deciding who is and who is not a good guy. That's how they work, folks. We are at war. Not that me or you or us wanted it. They are the ones attacking us. Anyways, good stuff. Lots to go on. Lots to talk about. Mr. Uman, who do you want to go with next? What topic? And hey, here we are. Dr. 762 checks in with Article 8, no slavery. What do our politicians not understand about Islam's priority? When Kristi Noem, who is the head of the Department of Homeland Security, when she sends agents after these Islamists, that's when our Constitution is being honored. I agree. I really do. These people, I'm not going to dehumanize them. They are actually people. These radical intifada, meaning they hate everybody everywhere around the world. Global intifada means destroy, attack, take over, subdue, enslave the whole world. They want to enslave us, our country, our states, our cities, our people, our corporations, everything. To me, that's a proclamation of war. And they're not doing it in just one location. It's not just one person. It is the entire Islamic community, period. And I don't even like to call them a community. I believe they are terror organizations. CAIR, C-A-I-R, Muslim Brotherhood, they should be indicated or designated terrorist organizations. Trump, why not? Where are you? What's the holdup? Have you not seen the terror attacks? All the way back to my youth, when the Marines were blown up in the barracks in Lebanon. Those pictures have stayed with me. And I thought, those people, there's nothing they understand other than death. Nothing at all. But we are getting it from these Islamists, and I would like to see our Constitution honored and their oaths honored. Remember the oath, right? I promise to defend our country, Constitution, against all enemies, foreign and domestic. These people are foreigners, but they're here domestically. They proclaim themselves our superiors, and they want to destabilize our local communities and our state communities and our government and take over. And then they will have their way with all of us, including going into our homes and taking our wives and daughters as slaves and killing us unless we convert to Islam. That is a violation of the First Amendment, which will be rectified by execution with the Second Amendment. And here we go. Thank you, Dr. 762. Please keep your needle sharp. Now, so you've got Islam that hates us. You've got LGBTQIA fruitcakes. Oh, and P, they're pedophiles that hate us. And I'm sorry to the not radicalized homosexual community. They're probably Gen X and older that just want to be left alone. Don't want to be grouped and considered one of these fruitcakes, these extremists. The LGBTQIA pedophile crowd is extreme, folks. Extreme. So then let's see what else we got. Antifa, which is anti-fascist, more of a political, while the Muslims are racial. The LGBT pedos are sexual. And then we have, Antifa's political, and BLM is racial. Yeah, we got them all. And then we got the media terrorists. That's right, Don Lemon. I would say he's unhinged, but I don't think he ever had hinges. He has declared, quote, white men radicalized to the right are America's greatest threats. Well, first off, are you radicalized to the right? I don't care if you're white or black. Are you right-wing radicalized? You see, here's the deal. Communists, fascists are authoritarian and left. I'm way over here under the caption, I love freedom. I don't want authoritarian government, A, or authoritarian government, B. I want freedom and liberty that was laid out and prescribed right here in the Constitution. It's not hard to figure out. Is that the radicalized right that Don Lemon is worried about? He wants us all over here on the left fighting over what form of socialism do you want? Right? How many more times, how many more years will dumbass Democrats and dumbass, news people use the phrase, white men are the greatest threat to our democracy and Christian men are the greatest threat, right? It's bullshit. How much more? What gets me is I don't think it's ever gotten any traction at all. Why do they keep saying it? The only thing I can come up with is they are yet again blowing a dog whistle that they're attack dogs here. Antifa, BLM, Muslims, LGBTQP, right? When they call us the greatest threat, especially to their precious democracy, right? That tells all of those groups to hate us. I mean, what they really are saying is that we, men, all races, that adopt a civilized and intelligent perspective towards government and society, that we're a danger. But really, truly, who are we a danger to, folks? We're a danger to the World Economic Forum. We're a danger to the globalists. We're a danger to totalitarian government efforts. We're a danger to the LGBT pedophile elitists. Oh, folks, this isn't just college kids. This isn't just gay bars. This is Washington, D.C., is LGBTQ pedophile elites. and they know it, and they all fear us. Don't kid yourself, folks. They've got an Epstein list. They've got pedophiles on file, and they will use that to control everybody in Washington, D.C. I have no doubts, because Trump himself screamed for years. His own son screamed for years. Kash Patel screamed for years. Dan Bongino screamed for years. All of us know about it, the Epstein files and clients. But now it's just a hoax. Don't worry, every time I see a stupid-ass Pam Bondi post, I remind her that we haven't gotten one single arrest of anybody associated with Jeffrey Epstein's horrific crimes. All right, folks, we got, we're halfway through the show, and I'm loving it on this Friday free-for-all. Where do we want to go next? Mr. Ooman, we got Redneck Roughneck again. He says they need to do it soon, or it's going to come down to we, the people, taking care of it. Redneck Roughneck, my friend and brother, I tell you what. Don't think for a second the government is going to fix anything or solve our problems. The only thing I have ever heard from politicians, and I even heard this from a congressman in person, who looked at all of us and said, you guys don't need to get carried away. You don't need to get your guns out. Just let us do our jobs in Washington. That's why you elect us. We'll fix the problems. That was over 20 fucking years ago. The problems we had then are now this big. Yeah, they're not going to fix anything. So understand, ultimately, we will be taking care of it. And if the police in Portland, Oregon are any indication of the actual loyalty to the Constitution, loyalty to non-criminals, that is a horrifying indictment against the entire law enforcement community. Now, I know they aren't truly representative in spirit or in numbers, but they do show us that there is a big problem. There is a battle in the blue that they need to fight with themselves to clean up their fucking act. Confiscating firearms, it's not in the Constitution. Letting criminals get away, not in the Constitution. Arresting little old ladies like Tina Peters, not in the Constitution. Arresting media people standing around while other people commit, mayhem, a felony, not in the Constitution. Upholding the law, respecting people's rights, arresting criminals, that is in their job description, and they're not doing it. They're not doing it. I don't, people. I've heard a lot of people, by the way, ask, how do these people sleep at night? Like a fucking baby. That's how they sleep, peacefully, snuggled in. They get their paycheck, and they get some whatever else makes them fucking happy, and they shove that in their pie hole. And then they sleep good because they believe in what they're doing. They believe destroying America is a good thing. And that's fucking awful. Fucking awful. We have people in the military now in droves, especially since Secretary of War Pete Hegseth spoke the other day. They're going in social media in uniform and talking shit about the military. I got a fucking clue for you dumbasses. Get the fuck out if you don't like it. I really don't think that the government should keep people in the military who have a problem with the military, good or bad. This idea that you signed a contract and you got to stay, not if they're bad. Get rid of them. We need to clean house. And they're continuing to say, get everyone who is LGBTQIAP, get them the fuck out. Get them out. Right? We need our military to be able to take care of problems. We need our police to take care of the real problems. I tell you. Let's have some more fun. We got 20 minutes left in the clock. And tonight I'll be heading out to a fundraiser, folks. I love fundraisers. I'm just I'm representing the company I'm working for. There's still a lot of really generous people and generous companies, but have you noticed it's small companies? It's down on the little people level where fundraisers are really cool. Anytime I see, big shots like Bill Gates and his philanthropy, usually it results in people getting jabbed with something and fucking dying. That's not what I call charity. All right. I touched on this topic, and I think it's worth touching again. We've got a lot of time left in the show. Get your questions and comments in. Man is categorizing them, finding out which one's going to hit the spot. But I want to talk about literal warfare now. Bombs, rockets, missiles, bullets, guns, and boots. Trump has declared the drug cartels down from Venezuela and probably other places are, quote, unlawful combatants. And he says that the U.S. is in armed conflict with them. The term unlawful combatants is a legal term. By definition, Trump's description is accurate. In order to be a lawful combatant, the opposing force must wear uniforms and have military designation. But the drug cartels are engaged in violent attacks without uniforms, which makes them unlawful combatants. But they're combatants nonetheless. So I wanted to describe that. They're engaged in violence. They have guns. They have weapons. And they engage in drug running and prostitution, extortion. Right? They're non-conventional warfare, folks. Non-conventional warfare. They engage and are engaging in their techniques. It is a type of psychological warfare. It is a type of medical warfare. It is a type of social warfare. Now, while all of us may not agree 100%, right? They are unlawful combatants. Unlawful combatants. And this war doesn't look like 1776, right? If we were to look at the Declaration of Independence in 1776, what you did is you put on a uniform and you go out on the field of battle and stand there while the other army assembles. And then you march towards each other and shoot at each other. And then you start running at each other and stab the shit out of each other with bayonets. And you club each other to death. Well, we don't do warfare like that anymore, do we? Well, what about World War II? Everyone gets in their military uniforms and they show up on the field of battle. And they run and they dodge and they hide. They jump in ditches. We got planes. We got tanks. We got bombs and missiles. We have artillery. Doesn't look anything like 1776, but it's still warfare, is it not? People are dying. People are getting hurt, including the civilian population. Now, back in 1776, if the bad guys came into your town and you fought them, your military, you as the militia military force, fought the redcoats and you win, well, they turn tail and run. Now they're redcoats with brown pants. But if they win, guess what they do? They go into your town and they burn it to the fucking ground after looting the houses and raping all the women. Well, World War II, right, also had civilian casualties. Cities were blown up before, during, and after battles. And houses were looted. And women were raped. It's still warfare. Vietnam, now we're not in cities anymore. Now we're in fucking jungles. And that was the first real heavy-duty look at unconventional warfare. No front line that pushed all the way through a country. No front. It was guerrilla warfare. It was unconventional. Many times the enemy didn't dress as the enemy. They would bomb and blow you up. They were terrorists. But it was warfare, right? It's war nonetheless. So what we're dealing with today is the next evolution. It's an evolutionary step in warfare. It's not just Army and Marines while the Navy's in the water offshore and the Air Force is in the air above, just bombing and shelling and shooting the shit out of everybody. No, there's civilian casualties. There are civilian casualties. They come from the raping, robbing, home invasions, gang fights, and of course the deaths caused by absolutely horrifying drugs that are distributed into the communities. It is nonetheless, folks, war. Psychological. There are elements of conventional warfare. It's a social warfare. It is a political warfare. That's why we all need to be prepared. All right, man, great topics today. Hey, Rock Valley Ready has one here. Oh, here we go. Unlawful combatants could describe our government-funded terrorists. Our government-funded terrorists. Oh, you mean like the United States government, through the CIA, creating ISIS, creating Al-Qaeda, Al-CIA? Oh, Israel had a hand in that too through Mossad. Don't worry. I'm sure the European secret services like Interpol, I don't think is innocent at all, but especially MI6 up in England. All of these people work together. I mean, we used to think that our country's intelligence community, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, we used to think that they were all independent, America first. No. They've been working with the Five Eyes, right? The intelligence services of New Zealand and Australia and Canada and the English, the kingdoms, United Kingdom, all of them, yeah. And America's the other eye. And since they can't spy on us and fuck us over, well, the CIA and FBI, they just go to these other countries, cooperate with them, tell them to collect information on us and screw us over. You might call that government-funded terrorism against us, the people. And what is terrorism again, folks? Terrorism is the use of force or the threat of using force and violence to make people obey a political dogma, a political goal, a political command, if you will, to push people one way or another politically. You think that that is exactly what is being done to us? Yeah. Some terrorists, folks, use guns. Some use vests. Some use swords, and others use computer keyboards. Some terrorist organizations use our own government against us. Do you think that extortion is a form of terrorism? Of course it is. Right? If we have politicians in Washington, D.C. that have done less than savory things and it's been noticed and it's been recorded, you can go to that person and extortion, folks. Extortion is a tool. Well, if it works with James Bond's Spectre, then I'm sure extortion can be viewed as a threat and a terrorist type threat. Okay, yeah. One hell of a crazy world, folks. So let's get back over to Jihad Joe. Folks, the global intifada by the Muslim Jihad is loudly calling for all of our deaths. That's right. At a Christian church in the state of Texas, a bunch of Muslim jihadists have decided to go on a vandalizing tour. That's right. They just said, hey, let's vandalize the shit out of a Christian church. And they were caught on video and they were arrested. And they say that vandalizing that church is within their First Amendment rights. And they're demanding that their charges be dropped. Folks, they're not even pretending to try and understand decency, the law, or the Constitution. To believe that you can destroy someone else's property as a political statement and that's protected, unfucking believable. Folks, they quote, intentionally selected the church because of religion, end quote. That's what they did. They intentionally selected that church because of religion. That was a violation, not only of property rights, but of the First Amendment rights, and it's an act of fucking terrorism. Because now everyone at that church is going to be afraid. They're going to wonder, is a bunch of Muslim fucksticks going to come through the door with a bunch of AK-47s and shoot from the hip and shoot up the church? That's terrorism, folks. And it starts very small. I think that when they go out in the street or in parking lots or sidewalks and pray, I think that's a form of terrorism. It is nonviolent terrorism, but terrorism nonetheless, because it's part of an incremental program to get in people's faces and ultimately say they are in charge. So for now, these Muslims that went to a Christian church, selected it, they're demanding through their advocates, including CARE and the Council on which is the Council on American Islamic Relations. There is no American Islamic relations. It is Islam trying to tell America to shut the fuck up and they're in charge. Right? This is their quote. We demand that the charges be dropped immediately. Why don't they just throw in the word Osama and IED? We demand that the charges be dropped immediately. Fuck you people. This is Texas, folks. A state that I never, ever, ever thought would allow itself to be bought, sold, or turned over to any organization other than itself. Well, obviously, the governor, the Senate, the state assembly, they're all a bunch of fucking sellouts. The Attorney General's office, weak. Ken Paxton, where are you? These people should be brought up on terrorism charges. We've seen too many Christian churches, not synagogues, Christian churches shot up, vandalized, and yes, even burned. Right? These left-wing people are fucking morons, people, and they're dangerous. And when they don't get their way, they get violent. And I include the Islamic Intifada as leftists because left-wing, way over here, are authoritarians. And that's exactly what the Intifada is designed to do, is to put an authoritarian government in place. Now, it's not just money, folks. We are in a psychological war. We're in a propaganda war. And I have evidence that money alone does not win elections. And the evidence that I bring to you, David Hogg. Remember that little guy, that little bitch of a pig, David Hogg, from the Parkland shooting in Florida? David Hogg's Political Action Committee, his PAC, is being accused of spending millions of dollars on political consultants, but their candidates they pick keep losing, coming up short. Folks, the reason that's happening is their ideology is way off base and un-American. It's so difficult, right? And cheating, by the way, is being stopped, and it is being countered, but only by people like you and me. Right? The Attorney General's office, no. Maggot Mike Johnson, dickhead Senator Toon in the Senate, nope. Right? Cheating is being stopped here and there, is being countered, and Democrats can't win. Democrats can't win, but Republicans hate to win. So I think it's up to you and I to keep up the pressure and keep demanding that politicians obey us, obey their oaths, and obey the Constitution. We need to keep reminding them that we, the people, it's our country. It's funny how they sell our country and they benefit. Unbelievable. I'm telling, and folks, it's every group. Have we not seen enough of Antifa, BLM, the radical, violent drug gangs out of Central America, the LGBTQP crowd, the pedophiles, and of course the Muslims. In fact, in California, an imam there, which is a priest, a California Intifada Muslim imam is warned. He's warning everyone that global Islamization is coming. I'm right here, Mr. Haji. Come and get me. Come and get some. Just wow. I hope you're prepared, folks. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, because it's not going to get better. All right, Uman, we got just a little time left in the show. Let's do it. We got Uman himself, and he says Apple has removed Ice Block, which allows users to track and report the location of immigrations and customs enforcement officers. So Apple has removed it from its app store. That is good, but also it was beneficial to get the people to run like hell. You can see the effectiveness of Ice Block, folks. If you were to go to a Home Depot and put on there that ICE is coming to that Home Depot, they would get the message and they would scatter like cockroaches. Well, that would clear out the lines, wouldn't it? But still, you know, it needed to be removed. In fact, I think Apple should be fined by the United States government for that. They should be fined. They should have to pay a fine for risking the safety and lives of immigrations and customs enforcement by allowing something into their platform. If I did that, right? If I created a program that allowed people to, well, commit crimes, yeah, they come right after me in a fucking second. You too. Very interesting. Mr. Uman, what else have we got out there? I still got time left in the hour on this Friday free-for-all. And H2 says, Tesla has new tiny houses. They unfold and set themselves up. Interesting. I have not seen that. Heidi, if you would, send me a message with a link to that story. There have been many, many, many companies now, mostly Chinese, that don't just sell tiny houses, but they're literally a modular home that comes folded up, and the walls stand up all four sides, have a roof that folds up and out, and they're completely 100% plug and play. It's fascinating stuff. Of course, I lived in my fifth wheel for 5 years to dig myself out of a divorce hole. Those get pretty deep. Yeah. Doesn't matter how many years into a marriage you have. The divorce holes are always deep. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, I lived in a tiny house in a fifth wheel, and it's quite comfortable. Now I live in, as you can plainly see, a bunker. And for a while, I lived in a yurt. That was quite an interesting thing. I loved it. I loved living in a yurt in the jungle, off the grid. But I knew I couldn't stay there. I knew I had to come back. I knew I had to come fight for America on American soil, right here in the continental U.S., and I selected the great state of Florida from which to make my home base. I love America, folks. I love everyone who loves America. I love our Constitution. Freedom and liberty is something I believe that every American would always fight for. Yet they don't. And then I learned that, 80% of the Americans in this country that were colonists didn't fight in the revolution. In fact, many of them supported their own enslavement and abuse by the king. And that's how that works, folks. Right? It's going to be a small group of us fighting for our very lives and existence. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Semper Fi, and God bless.